Fleetistics. I graduated from Florida State back in 1992. I graduated with a bachelor's degree in criminology. I moved on to the Marine Corps directly out of college. I was an infantry officer stationed in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. I spent 3 of those 6 years in marketing and public affairs, and that's where I really developed an interest in business. And I was able to go to graduate school and get a master's in business as well as management. After the Marine Corps, I moved to work for Orkin Pest Control in Atlanta, Georgia, where I really learned the service industry and got familiar with how businesses operate and some of the challenges of small business management and fleet management as well. At the time, it was in the early 2000s, and the job market wasn't very good. 9/11 happened, and everybody just stopped hiring at that point. They just, nobody knew what was going to happen, so nobody was hiring. And, I had a family to feed. So I had 2 small kids. We had a house here in Tampa, and, I needed to find a way to make some money. So I went back to the GPS company that I worked with when I was with Orkin, and one thing led to another, and I ended up starting my own company. And at the time, it was me. It was just me in the front room in my house. My dad fortunately bought me my first computer, really, where I was able to start doing business type operations. And I started the company in the front room of my house, but we still had spent every dime that we had. We had made some money coming out of Orkin, and we had gone through all that because I was unemployed for 6 or 9 months and still looking for work. And we actually ended up borrowing about $20,000 from our parents just to keep our house. I mean, we were making plans to sell the house and move into an apartment and, really try to somehow survive, so we didn't end up sleeping in a car. And, I got this opportunity. My wife was supportive, and she said, you could keep looking for work, but, this is starting to show some promise, so why don't you stick with it and see what happens. And, working 6 days a week, 10 to 12 hours a day, basically, dialing the phone is what I did, and looking for companies out there that were interested in learning more about how to improve the efficiencies of their fleet operations. And within 6 months, I had traction, and I started to generate revenue. Unfortunately, I was sales, tech support, training, administration, accounting. I was everything. I was a one-man business at that point, but I started to make money. And once I did that, within 6 to 9 months, I'd actually paid off the debt to our parents, and we were generating a positive cash flow. And within a year, 18 months, we weren't just breaking even, we were starting to make some money. And slowly over time, we took that money, reinvested it back in the company, and then grew and grew, and finally got to a point where I couldn't do it all. So we moved to a small office in the area, and basically GPS Fleet Solutions at the time started to take off. Early on, it was, I continued to do the sales. I hired 1 or 2 people. We really started to grow when we started to add salespeople. When I have a group of people that are selling, they can obviously sell more than myself. And the products improved, the products matured, the data management and information management improved and matured, so the information was easier and more reliable to get. Through the technology, the prices started to fall. And when we first started selling GPS tracking systems, they were $700 a piece. Even before that, they were up in the area of $1,200 a piece. Today, you're looking at around $200 if you outright buy the equipment. So the prices have come down significantly. The monthly service fees that go along with those haven't changed quite that much, but they definitely have come down over time. So, the transition from being a real small business to a medium-sized business, and we're a multi-million-dollar company. So, some might call us almost a big business revenue-wise, but staffing-wise, we're still under 30 people. So that transition takes place when you start to increase your sales. The only way to get to increasing your sales, though, is to have a good foundation inside your organization. You have to have good accounting practices. You have to have good processes and procedures. You have to have a good understanding of what makes the technology important to the customer. And if those things are in place, then selling becomes a whole lot easier. You can support the sales effort that you're starting to get in motion and get working for you, so you can become exponentially bigger over a relatively short period of time. If I had to look back over my company over the last 12 to 13 years, there's a couple key things that I would point out to anybody. And the very first one is, don't run your business checking account like it's a secondary personal account. A lot of people make that mistake. They can't manage the finances. They see money growing in the company, and they feel like, oh, well, I can splurge and I can spend that money. Well, that money is there to run your business, and you need to put yourself on a salary just like everybody else. And if the company does well, then you do well at the same time that your employees do well. So managing your finances is extremely important. Secondly, get involved in a business where you have an opportunity to earn recurring revenue. Recurring revenue makes your life easier over time. If you're in a business where you have to generate new revenue each and every month, you've got to perform just as well as you did the month before, and you get no additional benefit from the work that you've done last month, the month before that. So in a recurring revenue business, life gets better, and you have more resources to reinvest in the company and to bring more value back to your customers. A third thing is you have to be persistent, and I've got a little saying that persistence wears down resistance. Business is full of obstacles, and you have to be persistent in having a desire to work through obstacles, around obstacles, over obstacles. There's always going to be problems standing in your way in business and in personal life too. You just have to make the decision that you're going to do something to get around those things, whether it be a shortage of money, you don't have the right people in place, you don't have the right assets, you don't have the right sales, whatever it is, you just have to be steadfast in your belief that, hey, I'm going to be persistent, I'm going to wear this problem down, and if I chip away at it long enough using good business practices and working with good people, that eventually I'm going to prevail over whatever obstacles that you come across. Another tip is to have a good CFO, a good accountant, a good lawyer, a good insurance company. Those 4 resources will help you and guide you through the growth of your business. I'm not saying you need to go out and hire these people because they're very expensive, but when you contract with good professional organizations that support your business, they will give you guidance and share their experience. And if you don't know employment law, you're in big trouble. Your employee is gonna figure that out, and they're gonna sue your company because you did something wrong that's illegal. So you need to understand good accounting practices. You need to have good insurance. All of these things come together when you have good professionals from other organizations that are supporting your organization. Another tip is to surround yourself with good people. As your business grows, you're going to get to a point where you realize you just can't do it all. And you have to decide at that point, what is the caliber of person that you're going to get to help your business grow? And you need to be looking for somebody that's better than you. When I started this company, I was dabbling in website development, and I look back on some of the websites from 10 years ago and just kind of get a chuckle with my current web developer. But I realized that in order for us to have a presence on the internet, we have to have a professional that comes in and does that type of work, and somebody that is dedicated to doing that type of work. So, it doesn't mean that I don't work with, these other people. I certainly do, and I've got ideas, and I want things done in a particular way. But, they're professionals, and they take those ideas and they make them better. They find ways to incorporate the rest of our business into what we're doing and develop a better overall organization. I like to think that, if I was looking on the list of smarts in my organization, I might be about number 5. But what I am smart enough is to understand when I need smarter people than me doing certain things. And the flip side of that is when people don't work out, don't wait until you get angry. Don't wait until you've wasted 6 months of payroll. Come to an understanding with somebody that things just aren't what they should be, and your needs aren't meeting. So make a decision and let people go on to their next opportunity where they're going to be happy, you're going to be happy, and you can find another person to come in and hopefully take your company to the next level. The last tip that I have is have excellent documentation. Use a CRM or a customer resource management tool like Dynamics or Salesforce or whatever you can afford, but make sure that all of your communication in your organization is very well documented, that you're using standard processes for communication with customers, that your accounting practices are all integrated and standardized, and it'll help you be more efficient. But when you have customer service issues, you have something to fall back on. You can look back and you can decide whether or not you've done the right thing or the wrong thing, but if you have no information, you don't know what to say. So make sure that you get the information into a CRM and use that across your organization and drive standard practices within the CRM so you get consistent, good data and communication coming back to you about your organization.